So for me, the biggest challenge in the energy sector is that very often data is perceived as a commodity and not really as an asset. So this is basically the mass of information that is standing in the back for every transaction, but it's not something which is properly defined, properly governed, and ultimately which can really, be being used as the foundation for really building more advanced products. So I think the key to change this perception is first to unveil what's possible, right? Where are the future benefits for the company? And then to make that possible with bringing basically the required expertise, being data management to enable this governance, definition, data quality, and also analytics, right? The lack of access to information, as we have seen it, is still a huge challenge. So if we can close these gaps, then people start to understand why data has to be treated differently, as why data is not one and zeros in the back of the computer. Basically, as you said, right, it is important is to have all these enablers and to manage them together, because one without the other, it is very difficult to prove and demonstrate the value. And the typical mistake is to bring the technology without having fixed the processes, without having managed the data. So for us, the key is to create, I would not call it seamless because it's not seamless fully. It's not so easy, but let's say to create a full experience, right? Where we start by defining projects. So by defining a project, we create a temporary team with a specific objective, right? And from this project, we identify all digital foundations which have to be there, being the data being managed, the process being defined, and also potentially the technology to be implemented, to be upscaled, right? And then at the end, we can achieve an objective, which is basically what the function, the sales, whoever in the company wanted to achieve. And by that, you have at the same time delivered something, right, which is recognizable, which is measurable, and put some bricks in your foundations, right, which will allow you for the next project to even use it as first foundations. Yeah, very simple. That this is the true agility. This is the way to become agile. So yes, it is really something for the kitchen, right? It's something which is very hard to sell to the front office, though it is absolutely required if we want to be able to move things at speed and at scale. It is the key for sustainability and for scalability, because not having transparency on how processes are run, how IT applications are managed, how the data is defined, creates a lot of latency, a lot of delays, because we don't understand what is there and we don't understand how it is intricated, right? So the problem is that we build on the same data, on the same objects, many things on top, right? We have more and more optimization happening, and basically that creates opportunities, but also increased complexity. And this complexity at one stage, the metaphor that I was using a lot was the multi-socket, right? So you plug one, you plug two, it works fine. You start to plug more and more, and then at the end you don't know anymore which one to unplug and which one to replug. And potentially it can also just start burning, right? And this is why this transparency, this accountability is absolutely key. I think it will become even more important, because the metadata management will be the most complex part to replace, human by machines. In the opposite, if the metadata is there, then the work which can be done downstream can be massively automated. It is already in some cases there, and it will come very soon. I take very concrete examples. If you define very precisely the metadata of your data pipelines, all the coding can be done by a Gen AI, for sure. If you define the metadata of the visualizations, the report, the dashboard that you want to create, Gen AI can do it. Copilot is not yet there, but it will be soon capable to generate really fit dashboards, for instance, and so on and so forth, right? So if this is really, again, the very foundation, if that is set right, then the build-up doesn't need any more humans. I mean, very interesting event, meeting a lot of people in the energy sector. Very interesting to see also the difference in the energy sector between, for instance, companies with strong focus on sales and trading, as met, and companies which are managing assets. So very different focus, one more on safe and healthy for some, very engineering, very trading, very different mindset as well. Very interesting. What was also very, very insightful was the survey that we run, which told that basically the main focus for data and digital transformation was access to information and process optimization, right? By 80%, against about 10 to 15% for AI. So this is still showing as well that despite the buzz, there are still major value to be driven from data for proper decision making and for process efficiency. And actually it makes sense, right?